Welcome back, my name is Olive and today's class is going to be a 20-minute lower body mobility flow. So the aim of this class is going to be for you guys to kind of take away what you want from it to move and flow how you would like. I'm going to give a bunch of different variations and modifications, but yeah, just get playful with it. Only equipment you really need today is a yoga block. If you don't have one of these, a chunky book will do, but I really recommend grabbing a yoga block if you can. Right, we're going to start in tabletop. I will see you there. Starting in your tabletop position, we're going to work into each hip individually first of all through some circular movements. We're going to do it a couple times, just kind of body weight, and then involve a yoga block just to get a little bit more engagement into the hamstrings. So in your tabletop position, kind of make sure you have nice contact with the ground. You're going to start by lifting your left knee up and off the floor, including the toes. Drive it towards the left wrist. Then you're going to abduct it out towards the side, imagine like a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. And then you're going to kind of circle it behind you, squeezing the heel in towards your glutes. So again, we come forwards to the wrist, out to the side, circle it behind, squeezing heel to the bum. And just kind of repeating this maybe one more time in this direction. And then you're going to reverse it, so take it back, circle it forwards to the wrist. And again, let's go 2 more times, keeping a nice steady base into the hand and the remaining leg. 1 more time. And then release that leg down. Maybe take the toes to the ground behind you on the left leg, and you're just going to kind of rock backwards and forwards. Make my way back onto my mat. Okay, cool. And we're going to do it on the other leg and then get the blocks involved. So exact same thing, set your base. When you're ready, lift the right leg off the ground, draw it forwards to the wrist, abduct it out towards the side, circle it behind you, squeeze heel in, and then again forwards, out to the side, circle it behind, and reset. Last time this direction, and then we will reverse it. And then send it behind, circle it forwards to the wrist. 2 more. Again, keep pressing down strong through the hands. Last one, and then release. Okay, again, extend the right leg behind on the balls of the feet and just rock backwards and forwards. Lovely. And then releasing. Maybe take a seat and just roll through your wrists. So we're going to do it again. This time we are going to involve our yoga block, and we're going to squeeze it in between our calf and our hamstring just to start to find a little bit more engagement into those muscles. So, coming back into a tabletop position, set the block up, give it a good old squeeze, and you're going to try keep squeezing it. If you drop it, you know that you're not squeezing hard enough. We're going to do, my voice, sorry. We're going to do those 3 circles in each direction again. So push through the hands, lift the leg, draw the knee forwards, to the side, circle it behind. Again, keep it going. You might find that you want to move quicker because you're worried about dropping the block, or your hamstrings are starting to talk to you a little bit more. Circle back the other direction. You might also find that your circles are smaller, that's completely fine. And last time. Beautiful, release, take the block out, straighten up that left leg, onto the balls of the feet, rock backwards and forwards. Okay, onto the other leg, block behind the right calf and hamstring, set it up into a position that feels kind of comfortable, lifting the leg, 3 circles forwards, take your time with it, see how this side feels, try not to rush. Even push through the hands, and then circle back the other way 3 times, still squeezing the block. Last one, and then release, and again, last time, straighten that right leg behind you, pulsing backwards and forwards here. Okay, lovely. When you're ready, you're going to bring both toes together, then flick onto the soles of the feet, coming up to standing. We're just going to do some circles into our knees. So standing with your feet about hip distance apart, this is for like your knees and your ankles. What you're going to do, you're going to draw your knees inwards towards one another. The outer edge of your feet lift off, and you push them forwards, and then you do a big circle out, the inside of the feet lift up. So it kind of looks like a weird little dance, but you're just starting to move through the knees, through the ankles, maybe even getting like the hips involved a little bit higher up. And then see if you can circle the other way. So forwards and then back. Always makes me laugh whenever I teach this. But yeah, it's just quite an interesting move to do for the lower body. And then release, give the legs a little bit of a shake. Cool. So coming back to your yoga block, you're going to plant it down in front of you. We are going to do some elevated sort of good morning movements. So a good morning looks like this, with hands into the hips, slight bend in the knees, and we hinge forwards, and then we travel back up. But we're going to kind of draw more attention into the calf and into the hamstring of one leg at a time. So what I want you to do is stand onto the block with the balls of the right foot and kind of balance yourself off to the side with the left leg. So both hands will come back onto your hips, and we're going to hinge, so bend into both legs, hinging forwards, and then coming back up. Now with the foot that's elevated, you might get some stronger sensations traveling down from the glute all the way down to the heel. So just kind of experiment, see what's going on. We're going to do one more hinge. And then swapping the legs over, so standing on it with the left foot, right leg off to the side. Again, kind of make sure that you are balanced. Hands onto the hips, and I'm going to go again for 5 hinges, up and down. Thinking about sending the hips behind you, driving through the feet, through the heels, through the toes, as much as you can. 2 more. Lovely. And last one. Beautiful. Return to standing. You can take the block off to the side and maybe just give the legs a little bit of a shakeout. Cool. So hopefully everything's feeling nice and primed, nice and warmed up. Let's come into a little bit more of a flow sequence. So we're going to kind of start in an upright kneeling position. Ideally tuck the toes, because we're going to kind of flick backwards and forwards from here and into a squat. So just to kind of practice and get warmed up into the movement, you're going to start by dropping the hips back towards the heels, hands to the ground, and push yourself back into a squat. It doesn't matter what your squat looks like, whether you are fairly deep, whether you're a little bit more upright, whether your heels are off the ground, just see where you are at. And then again, hands to the ground, knees to the floor, coming all the way up. So just having a little practice of this transition first of all, from our upright kneeling stance back to our squat. If you feel like it, you can start to take the hands away from the ground, purely kind of working into a little bit of balance and more the ankles, also a bit of momentum to carry you forwards. Okay, and then take it back into your squat, hands to the ground, and maybe rock side to side. Again, just bringing more attention into the hips, more attention into the ankles. You could start to maybe extend and reach with one arm. Just finding a little bit more movement here. You could also think about reaching, diving forwards. And then maybe coming to extensions, so rocking onto the balls of the feet, arms can go wide or above your head. Again, just kind of think of different ways that you can move around in your squat. You can lift up and pulse back down, just see where you are at. It's quite a lot of just like freedom with the movement. Okay, and then from here, what I've been really enjoying exploring recently, back to your squat position, take your hands over towards the left hand side, so in front of the left knee, and you're going to bend into that knee, rock over into the arms, push it back, over to the right side and bend into that leg. And again, you're just kind of slowly leaning side to side. You might want to lift your other leg higher off the ground and straighten it up. Ideally not go into any of your plants. But yeah, it's just quite a nice movement to get a little bit more sort of range in your hips. Okay. When you're ready, bring it back into your squat. We're going to come back into our kneeling stance and then start to experiment with some other stuff. So from kneeling, You could step your right leg forwards and come into a lunge. Maybe we just start to pulse here, in and out of the front leg. And then we can reset it back to the squat. To kneeling, step the left leg forwards, and again, maybe we pulse in and out of a lunge on the other side. So there's loads of different ways you can start to add on to this sequence. And again, pop it back, flick to your squat. Again, let's go, step the right leg forwards, you can lunge. You could even start to take your left arm down to the ground and kind of press your right knee away from you a little bit. Let the sole of the foot lift up. You could even think about lifting your back heel inwards towards the body. See what that feels like. Whether you just have it hanging out there or you reach back. And then again, pop it back into your squat. Rock forwards, left leg steps. Come back to a kneeling pulse. And take right hand down to the ground, turning your toes away from you, encouraging some more movement into the hip there. Or again, lifting your back leg up, whether it just hovers or whether you do reach around to hold it. And then again, pop it back to kneeling and into your squat. And do it one more time, last variation. So step it forwards into your lunge. Now this time back into half split. So draw your hips behind you, fingertips down to the ground. You can kind of pulse here. You can twist side to side. You can point and flex into your toes, whatever feels good. You could float your arms away. And then again, roll it forwards, kneeling to squat. Last time, left leg forwards, little bit of a pulse, and then send it back half splits. Hands to the ground, point and flex into the toe. How is that hamstring feeling? How is it responding? Get a little wriggle into your hips, into your spine. Release the hands. And then again, rebend to kneel, to squat, and then up into Ragdoll. So with Ragdoll, what you can do is take your block underneath your hands. So the hands rest on top, soft bend into the legs, draw the chin down to the chest, shake out the head, and maybe we just gently rock side to side. Letting the body maybe gently bounce, gently sway. And what I quite like to do here sometimes is take my hands to my calves and just kind of squeeze down them, or maybe up into the hamstrings. Or, you know, you can kind of use your fists like rolling pins and kind of travel down the muscles. But yeah. From your ragdoll position, start to slowly look forwards. Then we're going to lower all the way back down onto our butt and release the legs out in front of us and sort of finish off with some more grounded seated positions. So, we're going to start by planting the feet down onto the ground, about hip distance apart. Hands go behind you and you're going to drop your knees down towards the left hand side. So coming into a shin box position where the sole of your foot kind of rests on top of the knee, and then back to the middle and then over to the right hand side. Again, we're just going to gently start to build into this flow, build into this sequence, just like we did with the squat, kind of experimenting with different ways that you can take it. Okay, so now this time, maybe when we bring the legs down to the left, we bring our right hand round with us and we fold down to the ground. Push back up, switch sides, fold to the ground, to the other direction. Again, maybe we just start by moving like this, see how it feels. And what you could also start to do now, as you switch knees down towards the left hand side, instead of twisting and folding, you can fold in different directions. So maybe either side of the left knee, fold down. In between the two knees, fold down. Again, over to the right side, twist to the ground behind you, fold into the right knee. Fold in between the knees. And then again, bring it back. Maybe this time you move actively, so you fold to the ground without the arms. So you're starting to use a little bit more of the body rather than using the ground to help you. Again, avoid your plants if you can. I keep going into it today. Beautiful. Okay, this time as you drop the knees down to the left, you can reach the right arm up and over your head. Legs to the right, left arm reaches up and over. So now involving a little bit more of a twist, a little bit more of a rotation. And again, we can add on to here in a second. So as you drop the knees to the left arm behind, right arm reaches up, you can lift your hips up and off the ground. So you get a real nice kind of movement down into the front of your hips. And swap, push to lift. So again, see how you kind of feel transitioning between the two, between the sides. And then just kind of flowing around a little bit more. Maybe you mix it up side to side. You could move without the arms. You could add in whatever else you can think of. Maybe you think about stepping that foot over and behind, just kind of allowing one leg to travel off the ground with you. Or do things that I haven't necessarily said. But yeah, just see where you want to go. There's a final one that I've also thought of. So what you could do is even come to a lift as the knees drop down to the left, push yourself up onto the knees and extend to stand. Back down, knees to the right, push yourself up with or without the hands to stand. So yeah, there you go. I'm going to give you about 10 more seconds to just move wherever you would like. Fold, stand, twist, lift, etc. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, bring it all the way back down to a seat. Extend the legs out in front of you and just give those legs a little bit of a shake. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to finish off with some movements on our back. So, first of all, come down to lie on your back with your feet planted to the floor. You're going to have a little look at some hamstring flossing. So if you hug your right knee in towards the chest, interlace the hands behind the knee, and then what you're going to do from here is start to straighten up the right leg as straight as it wants to go. You're going to point the toes, flex the toes, point the toes again, and then rebend the leg. So I'll do this 3 more times. So straighten the leg with point, flex, point, and rebend. Again, straighten up, point, flex, point, rebend. Last time, point, flex, point, rebend. Swap legs over, hug your left knee in, interlace the hands behind the thigh. Again, straighten up to point, flex, point, and rebend. Keep it going a couple more times. So just doing some hamstring flossing, working into some of the fascial tissue. Lovely. Last one. And rebend from here, plant the foot down to the ground. So grab your yoga block again. We're going to come into supported bridge. What you're going to do from here, with the feet planted to the floor, you're going to lift your hips up. And whatever height setting you want for your block, you're going to slide it underneath your glutes and above your glutes so that the sort of lower back and the pelvis comes down to rest on the block. Now you can either keep the legs bent, if you're completely content like that, go for it. Some people like to straighten up their legs and have the heels resting on the ground. It's a little bit more exposing into the front of your hips towards your hip flexors. And my personal favourite is to do this with my arms reaching above my head because it just feels like a lovely, lovely full body kind of movement. And the block is there to hold and to support you. So again, just breathing, just holding here for a couple of breaths. Feel free to obviously change up the position in the body as well if you wanted to experiment. Okay, let's take 2 more breaths here. Okay, when you're ready, if the legs are straight, slowly rebend them, plant them down to the ground. So you can lift your hips, slide the block out from underneath you, hug your knees into your chest, let yourself rock gently side to side. And then we're going to release into happy baby just to finish off with. So feet up to the ceiling, bending the legs, holding the feet wherever, whether you hold the toes, the ankles, the thighs. And you're just going to rock yourself side to side if you wanted to. You could straighten up your legs, whether they're together or whether they take like a straddle position. Or if you take the soles of the feet together. Beautiful. And when you're ready, hug your knees into your chest, rocking up and down 2 or 3 times. Coming back to a comfortable seat when you're ready. And there we go. So I hope you enjoyed that quick little sort of hip mobility flow and you picked up some nice movements and sequencing so that you can take it away and practice by yourself as well. But yeah, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time. We're going to start kneeling down and work into our hips with you. Wow. You know, you're just like so dead. I'm fine! Okay, cool. We're going to start in a tabletop position. Grab your yoga block and we're going to use it to start to... I am absolutely fine, yeah. So fine.
Should we get a coffee?
Probably.